Good evening and welcome to another Thursday evening of RWB Radio. Tonight we're in for a special one. So it's no Tiger, no Speed, no Draco tonight. It's myself, Seahacks18, and RWB Orange Davis.
Orange, yeah.
Welcome to the commentary box, Orange.
Thank you very much. Although I've gone by a few names, so it's a bit confusing. I was first Al, then I was Audi, and I've just gone with Orange now because it's different from everyone else.
Yeah, you're going to have something unique. Cool. So tonight is going to be a Thursday evening of Porsche GT3 cars in a race room. Have you driven this car at all, Orange? Do you know anything about it?
I've driven it a bit. It was never my preferred car out of all of the GT. I usually went for the Z4, surprisingly. Don't know why I chose that one, but I've tried the Porsche a little bit. I could never really get used to it until recently, and then I started to really enjoy it. And it's just generally, I found it a really smooth, sort of very reliable car to drive, actually.
Yeah, lots of fun. So I haven't driven them in race room, but I have given the GT3 Porsche a bit of a whirl in Project Cars 2, where it was my GT3 car to go to, and I just love the way it goes around the corners. So as it's a rear wheel drive, rear engine car, so a lot of the weight at the back. But it just flies around corners. I just love getting the rear end out on this. It's very oversteery, but stable in the oversteer, if that makes sense. So it's a lot of fun to drive because it gets sideways around the corners.
Yeah, I always had the opposite. That's probably why I didn't enjoy it. I'd go into a corner and I'd just feel like I'm turning. And I might have been carrying too much speed, but I always found myself understeering going into a corner.
Yep. Cool. So tonight we've got 5 tracks this evening. So a mini league of 5 small short events. So 4 minutes of qualifying followed by an 8-minute race. We're going to be visiting such wonderful places as Nutstop Ring GP, which is where we are right now. Then we're going to be moving on to Indianapolis, Salzburg Ring, Silverstone, and then Eurospeed away Lositz. So
That's
some interesting,
nice little mixture.
Yeah, a nice mix of tracks. I must admit, I'm only familiar with 2 of the 5. So Indianapolis, I've had a little go around, and Silverstone, obviously from the F1s. Do you know much about Nutstop Ring at all, Orange?
Sort of factually wise, no, I don't really know too much about it. You'd have to ask Tiger on that. He's your historian. But I have driven it, and it's not too bad. It's quite hilly. There's a lot of sort of up and down, a lot of rise, fall. It's very short as well. It's a nice little track with smaller cars, I find. You can use, I'm not too sure if these cars will work really well around it, but they might.
So we do have GP in the name of the circuit, so perhaps it was once a Grand Prix, an F1 track, but maybe it's not on the calendar anymore. But I do have a little bit of circuit history here, taken ripped straight from racingcircuits.info. So Ringnutstop is one of Sweden's most successful tracks, with a history stretching back more than 50 years. Undulating, as Orange has just said, and relatively quick, the circuit is popular with spectators thanks to the good views afforded by the banks overlooking the course. The circuit was built by the Highland Motorsport Club, which had been formed in 1948, a while ago then, by a group of enthusiasts who began organising motocross events a few years later. In 1951, they had created their first course at Kagurad, probably just butchered that. I'm sure Limpan... I'm sure Limpan will be able to correct me on that one. On the site of the present-day circuit, the club grew in stature and by 1958 organised its first World Cup event. So I'm not sure on the... it's a 1.9 1.292 miles, so it's a pretty short track.
Yeah, it's not too long. It's like you said, pretty short track. Probably quite a lot of overlapping, I imagine, is going to happen on this one.
So there's a total of 13 corners around here, all of them named. We've got a one parabolica, we've got we've got a couple of S's, we've got a 90-degree right-hander, a 90-degree left-hander, and a fairly short straight. So pretty tight little track, lots of corners. I think this car will be pretty well suited around here.
Yeah, so, it's actually quite a sort of a diverse looking track when you look at it sort of from got quite a lot to it. Nice hairpin, sort of fast sort of S's that you've got to go through. Nice straight. It's just small.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot of passing opportunities on here. So obviously we've got a fairly long straight with a sort of medium speed right-hander into a fairly short another right-hander that's fairly short, so there might be some overtaking down there. But yeah, fairly like you say, narrow, undulating, fast corners. So it's going to be pretty tough. So qualifying is going to be very important for these guys. So we've got 2 minutes 45 left on the clock of practice before we move into a short qualifying session. Let's have a little rundown through the board, shall we?
Sounds good.
So up front with the fastest practice time is no surprise here. RWB C Sammy. Really fast, this guy. Stupendously. I remember Tiger and Speed having a little discussion during the last, just as he has a little spin there.
Yeah, there you go.
Obviously, he's pushing really hard in the practice session. He's making the most of it. But yeah, Speed and Tiger were sort of debating whether or not this guy should be awarded the Alien Medal. So he's clearly well up there, and no surprise to see him. Second on the grid there. Well, second on the board at the moment then is Luca Gray, Squid Flipper, Squid Licker, Squid Titter, Squid Rimmer.
Poor guy.
Yeah. 14 years of age, so one of our youngest member, exuberant, young, a little bit a diamond in the rough, as I would put it. So he's supremely quick. Every now and again, a little bit of dodgy racecraft, but he's learning. He's getting better. He's improving, and best of all, he's fast. He's incredibly fast.
Yeah, I've raced against him a lot in the past, in the last few Tuesday ones, the mini leagues, and he is fast. He's very competitive, and he's kind of like a Max Verstappen, really. He's young, he's inexperienced, but he's aggressive, and he'll go for it, and he'll make a play. He'll make a move, and it'll just add a bit of excitement to it for any of the viewers, really.
So just having a little watch of Jens Fiedler then from Zero Force Racing. Oh no, we've moved down to Martin Peterman. Looks like the auto director kicked in there. So looking at Jens Fiedler, so from Zero Force Racing, so he's a regular. He's not actually with RWB as a club, but he is with Zero Force, and him and Martin Peterman, both Zero Force Racing members. They tend to come on a Thursday evening for the RWB Mini League Series. Saw him here in the last session and the session before that. Very fast, this guy. I actually saw him taking part in, I think, in an official race room league event, and he was right up there battling with some of the fastest guys in the race room community. I think it was a GT3 race, and he was holding his own. He was having a really good race, so he's one to watch out for.
Well, he's first out for qualifying. He's eager.
So yeah, just moving into qualifying then. So this is a 6-minute session. The guys are obviously gonna get some fast lap times in. Yeah, very important to qualify well during the mini league series. The races are short, they're fast little sprints, and so qualifying well, basically, qualifying up front, for example, gets basically half the race is done for you, and you've got a good chance of getting the win.
Yeah, so I imagine we'll see a few mistakes on this little bit that they're going over now, where they go over that crest, and you cannot see anything if you're going over that. You just can't see it. So you've got to really know your braking point when you're going over that, and if you don't, you're going to go straight into the back. So one to watch, that corner.
Yep. Hopefully we'll see some. Well, I don't want to see anyone go off, but we do want to see an exciting and action-packed race where the guys are really trying and giving it some, making unforced errors is obviously not ideal, but it does show that the guys are pushing the cars and more. Just watching Martin Peterman, then another member of Zero Force Racing, another really fast guy. I expect to see him up the front with Yen, Luca, and C. Sammy during this evening. And now we're looking at Rigel in the black and red. Oh, it's a beautiful livery, that. He's definitely got good tastes. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Rigel, Game of Smug, RWB international member, one of the core members. Super quick, knows his tracks, knows his cars. And again, I'm sure we'll be seeing him up at the front with the rest of the guys.
He's got the title of Trackmaster, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the RWB Trackmaster.
Thrown about a lot.
Watching Debug now then. So Debug has recently come back to the club. He's just getting back into the swing of things. He's been taking part in the F1 League as well. Great to see him back out with the other RWB members. And I've also seen him, doing a few practice sessions with Rodders this week, giving it, trying to improve his lap times and joining in the discussions in the league chat and so on and so forth. So he's clearly, back on it and wanting to make a name for himself in the club again. So it's great to see Debug back out there.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's always nice to see a sort of friendly face return. Someone who's sort of been away, not been here that much, and then they come back and still sort of accepted. You can still go back into racing. It's just generally really nice sort of community atmosphere.
It's great that RWB are just willing to open up their arms and just let people. I myself disappeared for a year and a half, came back, and it was as though I'd never even been away. It was really good. So it's great that RWB doesn't have this kind of elitist view that you are a sim racer until you are not, sort of thing. It's we're a club, come go as you please, as long as you race fair and clean when you are here, then you're welcome. So we're just watching Helmet then. So I've got to apologise to this guy. I don't actually know that much about Helmet. Do you got anything to share with us about Helmet?
No, I haven't actually raced. I don't think I've raced with Helmet. Was he in the previous race?
I'm not sure. I'm not. He may have been, but you know what? I'm gonna make an effort to watch Helmet go around this evening and try and get to know him a little bit better and get a feel for his race.
He's currently third, so he's proven he's got pace.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the faster guys around here in the GT3. So obviously he's going to be a one to watch for at least this race. So looking for good things.
I was going to say, no wonder I've never seen him on the racetrack. He's up in third.
Following Limpan then, so the Swede with speed, just as he nips back into the pits. So he's currently in 7th in this qualifying session. A little lower than I would have expected. He was just trash talking everybody in the chat just before we started the stream.
Oh, confidence at its finest.
So super confident, but pride comes before a fall, Limpan. So make sure these guys aren't going to make you eat your words. But obviously, we know you're fast, we know you're quick. So keep it on the grey stuff and good luck. Dave Crew, also a member of Game of Smug with Rigel. Again, one of the mid-pack runners, Dave. So he's always sort of up there in the middle of the pack. Sometimes at the front. very fast, very consistent, but also very dedicated. So, I've been non-stop practicing, racing and in the chat and on the servers and so on and so forth. And I always see Dave around. Dave's, he's always there for the practice sessions. He's always turning up for the races. He's an RWB constant. And it's great to see him here for another Thursday evening. So good luck, Dave.
I've always enjoyed racing against him. Very clean, very fair driver. You can always have a good battle. I'd say he's on the same skill level as me, perhaps at 8th position. That's usually where I'm slotted in.
Yep. So we're just going through qualifying now. So we're going to be going into a race ever so shortly. So we'll get through the rest of the field after the race. The guys are just warming up now then, so it's garage time. They've got basically a minute to get themselves sorted, get themselves back out the rig, have a quick drink of water, quick ciggy, back in the rig, ready to go. Do you want to take us around for the first lap, Orange?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm okay to go as long as I can if you want.
Yeah. So I'll interject as soon as you run out of steam. So
sure.
Red lights are on. It's all over to you.
Here we go. Red lights and they're out. And straight away, I believe that is, I'm not sure who that was actually in the blue car. I think that was Luca. Yeah, he's going in the middle, going in between. No, he's going on the outside. And everything's blurring for me there. There we go. So he's on the outside. CSAM has managed to keep his lead. Luca is up into second. Fielder down in third. So Fielder there in the red and white. Right behind him is Peterman in the orange, blue and white. And then we're just looking at, I cannot pronounce his name, sorry, Alejandro, I believe that is. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. So he is in 17th. He's having a little bump on Cos there, trying to go around the outside as we go around this big hairpin. And a little bit of contact. There goes Cos. Poor old Cos, he's been spun around. I'm not sure who that is. That is Kruger. I believe that was Kruger and Cos that came together. So now still looking at Alejandro, I believe it is. He's up into 16th. So he's gained a place from that lap. And that is someone off in the grass. Same livery, not too sure who that was. Looking back at Limpan now, he is right on the back bumper of Peterman. So looking now from the, I believe this is the top, the bonnet view. I believe that's what it's called. So he's just fallen off a little bit, just taking his time. He's not going to be trying to attack too quick. Just see if he can find out where I believe we're on Peterman now, aren't we? Yeah, there we go. So Peterman just hanging back a little bit, looking to see what mistakes Fielder's going to make. I believe most of them are going to make a mistake around that corner there. It's quite a sort of deceptive corner. You go up to that and you think you've got the right speed, and then you've just carrying too much, sets you up poorly for the next corner, and you've sort of given away a position, let the door open, and someone's trying to go down the inside. Here we are. We're on lap 3 already, so very, very short track. And Limpan right now looking down the inside of Peterman. Not going to do it. He's just going to pull back in. Peterman keeping his line, not really having to defend too hard actually. So looking now at Limpan, just waiting for him to follow up on those confident words we heard earlier. So as we just settling in now, just going to see who's going to make the first move really. They all head round the big old sweeping hairpin once more. So back on Fielder now, and Fielder is looking to try and overtake Gray. Luca Gray there. I believe that the difference between them is less than, it's half a second. So absolutely nothing between them two. He's probably going to be trying to make a move. I imagine he'll be trying to make a move coming up to this first corner if he's got, no, that's quite a big space actually. Unless he's very quick on the, very good on the brakes. There goes Limpan. Limpan's coming straight through. So
Limpan's up into 5th position after qualifying in 8.47, so he's doing really well. He's having a great race. So Sammy is actually leading at the moment with Luca Gray in 2nd, Jens Fiedler in 3rd, with Peterman in 4th, Limpan in 5th, Debug down in 6th, Dave Crew in 7th, FX, top lad, up in 8th, And Rodders a surprise 9th, with followed by Helmet, Rigel in 11th, Charger in a nice steady 12th, Rick Binnersley in 13th, Jammer in 14th, Gretschel, who I don't know, in 15th, TK in 16th, Kruger in 17th, Alejandro in 18th, Ricardo Richard in 19th, Cars down in 20th after that nasty spin. Oh, and who's that has just gone through?
Down. That's Fielder. Limpan's gone up to... He was actually in trouble, Limpan. He had Debug right on his back bumper looking for an overtake, so he's just got a bit lucky there. And Fielder's not having too much luck, is he?
It's like Fielder's actually being challenged from behind by Debug now as well, so Debug's actually hunting down on Fielder. Limpan is pushing up on Peterman as well, it seems.
Yeah,
so,
they're less than half a second. So that's switched around quite drastically in there. Oh, that was a bit of a forced dive right there. He was riding half the curve around that.
They're still side by side. So we've got Limpan right up against Martin Peterman. Oh, and Peterman manages to shut the door on him. Limpan stays in 4th place. So well done, Peterman, for holding him off. That has caused Yen to catch up a little bit, so he has managed to close that gap a smidge, but Lim is still pushing incredibly hard, getting a little bit untidy there through that undulating section of track. So take it easy, Limpan. It is a sprint race, but you don't want to make a mistake and end up at the back, and you certainly don't want to ruin Martin Peterman's race.
So yeah, while all of this is happening, CSAM is almost pulling into a 2-second lead, so he's almost running away with this.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of trouble with the camera controls. Hang on. Right, yeah, so C-Sammy is pulling away, so he's got a 2.5 second gap now back to Luca. Luca, he's fallen off a little bit, but he is kind of somewhat keeping with him, and he is managing to hold off Peterman and Limpan, although Limpan has just moved up into 3rd place, so let's have a look at that. So Limpan up into 3rd. It looks like Peterman's actually made a mistake. He's now down all the way into 6th position, and that's going to give Limpan a chance. Yep, Martin Peterman's gone down into 6th now, and that's going to give Limpan the opportunity now to catch up to Luca if he can. Obviously, Luca is pretty quick, but he is closing that gap fairly fast, and he has charged his way up from sort of 8th and 7th position into 3rd now, so he's running a hell of a race. Oh, just as he gets a little bit untidy. So, we did say earlier that we wanted to see these guys getting squirrely, getting a bit messy, and, Limpan is sort of the epitome of that right now, and he's really pushing that car as hard and as fast as he can to try and make up that ground to Luca. He's got 1.5 minutes left to go.
And Dave Cruz just had a bit of an incident. He's fallen about 3-4 places. Yeah, there it goes. He's had a spin. Really unlucky. He was actually challenging. I think he was challenging FX. He was trying to make a move. He was very close, and then suddenly he's gone all the way back down to the middle of the.
So on board with Peterman, watching with Peterman now. So it looks like Peterman is not happy with the fact that he's back down into 6th position, and he's looking to challenge on Debug. He has closed that gap up quite nicely, and he was challenging a little bit earlier, but it looks like now he's sort of tucked in and is trying to make up that gap a little bit. Let's see if we can find some more action.
I know Rigel is right on the back of Helmet. There we go. He's going to be looking to go up the field. He's in 10th. It's not the usual for Rigel.
So yeah, I will say that obviously on a Thursday evening the guys are running ballast. So I don't know what the actual ballast numbers are, but Rigel being one of the usual front runners, I'm sure he's got a.
I get the feeling he's got quite a high ballast for this one.
A little bit of action here then, so it looks like Limpan is down into 4th. Jens is actually pushing to try and get around him, but I think Jens has made a small mistake there, and Peterman has moved up into 4th from 5th. He has actually got around Debug as well. So this is a battle for 3rd place.
Was that Fielder going all the way down to 6th? Oh, and they're off!
Yeah. Oh, they're off,
Limpan, and who else was it? Was that Debug, yeah. He's off. I think FX has been caught up in that as well. So Debug's down to 10th. He's still dropping. So, and I think Fielder's gained 2 positions, and Peterman's back up to 3rd. So not too bad for them too.
So C-Sam is pulling away now. He's 8 seconds ahead of Lucas, who he's well and truly away and got this one wrapped. we just want to have a watch through Sammy as he comes over the line. I think he's coming round to the end soon, so we just want to give him the time of day really as he comes over and takes this win. So he's just coming over the line. Congratulations, Sammy.
Well, there we go. That's win number 1.
Win number 1 for Sammy. No surprise there. Luca in second.
A good solid drive from both of them. No mistakes. Really just reliable driving. Peterman and Fielder both gaining quite a lot of places on that final lap, so quite a nice bit of luck for them, keeping it on the grey stuff. Again, that's how you win races. Very unlucky for Limpan, who actually managed to hold his top 5 position. So well done to Limpan for actually holding it.
He did have some exciting racing there, so well done.
I believe Rodders went up from 9th the last time I saw him, so he's in 6th. That's quite a nice little gain that he's got there.
Yeah, so well done, Rodders. He's obviously had a good race. So the results are in then. So C. Sammy with the win and the fastest lap. You've got Luca Gray in second, Peterman in third, Jens Fiedler in fourth, Limpan up from 8th or 7th into 5th, and I'm running a good aggressive race. Rodders in 6th, Helmet in 7th, FX in 8th, Rigel up 2 positions into 9th, Debug in 10th, Dave Crew in 11th despite that off, Charger in 12th, Jammer way down in 13th. Come on, Jammer, I know you can do better than that. Richard in 14th, Rick Binnersley in 15th, Gretschel in 16th, A. Kruger in 17th, TK in 18th, Koz in 19th, Alejandro in 20th, Marazzi in 21st, and Schreiner in 22nd. Did not finish.
Alejandro, because I think he was running 17th when we last saw, 16th when we last saw him. And he was having a nice little battle, but he must have had a bit of contact, slipped up or something, and it's just dropped him down again.
Yeah, one little mistake in these sort of short races, and it's game over essentially. You're going to lose 3, 4, 5 positions, and it's going to be very difficult to get that back. So, where are we now? We are in Indianapolis Moto. Do you know anything about this one, Orange?
Not too much. I'm claiming to be a historian. That's your job for this.
We're going to have to get on the old Google, aren't we, and find out. While that's running. Oh, here we go. This is the motor. This is the. Do we know which layout this is? The road.
This will be the road layout.
So, 2.439 miles. This one. So a little bit of history. Few other venues on the planet can match the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for its history, spectacle, and sheer speed. Hallmark since its earliest days. While the famous Indianapolis 500 race may not quite pack the same punch as it did in its heyday, it still remains one of the world's greatest races with a sense of drama and intrigue. I think that's the IndyCars, right? The Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, that's the Indy 500 laps of it, I believe, isn't it? That's why it's called the Indy 500.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I think it's still got the isn't this the track with the brickwork finish line as well?
I don't know, mate. I really honestly don't know much about this. We're not very good, are we? We're not very good motorsport fans if we can't tell our viewers about the history of a course. But I'm going to try and do my best. So the first circuit to bear the name Speedway. Everything about Indianapolis is vast. It has a permanent seating capacity estimated at 2,250,000, with infield seating raising the total to an approximate 400,000. This makes it easily the highest capacity sports venue in the world. So bigger than football, bigger than the Olympics, bigger than any other motor speedway, any other race circuit. This is where it's at in terms of spectator numbers at the very least. So famously, the Speedway promotes that within its perimeter you could fit the Lawn Tennis Club at Wimbledon, Rome's Coliseum, the Kentucky Derby course, the Yankee Stadium, the Rose Bowl, and the entirety of the Vatican City, and still have room to spare. So it's a little bit big.
Yeah, very large. I just searched it up as well. This is the track with it's called the Yard of Bricks, the Brick Yard. It is, I believe it is over the finish line, and it was, I think it's something to do with like the original track when it was made being sort of made with bricks. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But apparently it's sort of a bit of a tradition of kissing the bricks. I think it might be by the winner.
Kissing the bricks.
Yeah, kissing the bricks.
You go around trying to kiss bricks around Maya, and you'll get hit in the face with a brick. Oh dear. Well, let's have a little rundown through some of the guys that we didn't get to see in the original race. So we're trying to watch Alex Kruger whilst he flies off in some strange direction, and the camera can't seem to track him. So just bear with me while I fix that. So on board with Alex Kruger, another member of Zero Force Racing. So again, that's an RWB member, but he is a member of another club. Thursday night's obviously open to any and all comers, as long as you are, you race fair, you race clean, and you race for position. So good to have you along with us, Alex. Have a good race, and hopefully you'll get some good results for Zero Force Racing.
I believe his teammate is Peterman, isn't it? He's in 04.
Yeah, and Jens Fielder and Martin Peterman are also in Zero Force. So we're just watching Edwin Alejandro at the moment with Manthe Racing. Alejandro was racing with us, I think, last week and perhaps the week before. Relatively newcomer to the RWB racing events. I'm not sure about his previous history in sim racing, but I do get the impression that he's one of the a little green around the gills, as we just saw him come off the track a little bit there, which is all well and good. Newcomers and veterans alike are welcome at RWB, and it's great to have Alejandro with us, giving it the big one on the track, and trying to have a good clean race.
I just realised that they're doing this. Is this the opposite way?
It does look a bit strange, doesn't it?
This is in reverse, this is why I think a few of the drivers are sort of mucking up, because it's a track that a lot of people know. A lot of people will load into it feeling confident, and then it's a reverse, and you're just thrown off because all the braking points are different. You're trying to match it up, and you can see there some of them. That's that was Rick Binnersley, so he's a capable driver, and even there it's sort of just acclimatising to the reverse layout.
Yeah,
it does take a bit of time.
It doesn't strike me as a track that many people will have practiced, Indianapolis in reverse. So, it's good to see a few sort of wild cards thrown into the mix during these Thursday evenings. We don't always want to be racing GT3 cars around Spa, as fun as that is, but it does get tiresome. So it's good to see a bit of variety thrown into the mix. So yeah, we are just watching RWB Rick Binnersley. So I've been watching some of Rick's stuff on YouTube over the past few weeks, and I've got to say he is a fantastic bloke. He's got good banter. He's commentating and chatting during his live streams are very entertaining and fun to watch. And he's a great driver. He's great at keeping it consistent. And on the grey stuff, as Tiger would say. So good to have you along, Rick. Good luck in tonight's races. So qualifying results are in then. So we've got Sammy on pole again with, it's just switched over to Limpan. So Limpan is now on pole with Sammy down into second position.
That's quite a gap, over half a second.
Yeah, it looks like we've got the qualifying results ever so slightly early. I'm not sure why, but qualifying is still taking place. But yeah, so far Lim's on pole, Sammy in second, Yen was down in third, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to see any more of those results.
Yeah, just the minute left now. This is usually when my nerves are at their worst.
Yeah, the sort of pre-race warm up where you're just getting ready and you're like, I just don't want to cock up the start. So red lights then, we are ready to go, counting down. And we're off. So Limpan in pole at the moment with Sammy up, bringing up the rear with Jens in third, Rodders in fourth, Luca in fifth, and Rigel in sixth. Who's that up on the inside? I think that's Sammy. Sammy trying to go up. Sammy trying to go up on the inside of Limpan into the right-hander, but looks like Limpan's managed to.
Limpan's off.
Limpan's pushed wide there, and that's let Sammy push off into the lead.
Oh, and he's massive crash. What's happened there? That was Limpan and was that Rigel?
Yeah, absolute mess there.
Rigel's got through. It was Fielder. Fielder's got hit.
Yeah, it was a big kerfuffle, big coming together there. Not a lot of space and a lot of cars trying to occupy that space. People getting a little bit hasty, I think, on this first outlap. Well, on this first lap. Yeah, they need to take it easy. On board with Rigel at the minute, so Rigel having a sniff up Limpan, who's down into fourth place. Limpan getting all kinds of untidy there coming out of that right-hander, and that has given Rigel the push to come up on the outside. He's going to try and outbrake it. Looks like Lim's holding the inside line.
Defensive.
Yeah, he's managed to, and he's pushed wide again.
He's still got the inside.
Yeah, Lim is pushing really hard, trying to hold off Rigel there. Rigel just keeping it nice and tidy, just biding his time and waiting for Limpan to make that mistake.
So yeah, there we go. Very, very interesting start. A bit chaotic. That I think that was the first few corners, wasn't it? Still thrown off by the reverse. So I don't know what corner it was actually. But yeah, we've had, I think it was Fielder has now got to try and make his way through the pack. He's sitting right behind Charger now, so he's going to be looking to try and make a move. He is past.
Yeah, so Fielder's up on the left-hand side. Charger, whoa! That was very close.
Come back. Someone else is off.
Squeaky bum moment there as Charger and Fielder are sort of racing for position just behind Matt Mathieson, who almost got rear-ended there. So, some very tight racing there. Watching Fielder then, so Fielder obviously is a little bit further down the field than we would normally expect. And obviously he's going to be pushing really hard to try and gain some more positions. I think he got caught up in that mess on the first turn.
He's gonna look to try and get around. There, oh, down the inside, he's been cut off. Doors just slammed.
That was big bit of contact there. A little bit untidy racecraft wise, but these guys are toughing it out. They're racing it. At least nobody came off. So, but yeah, people pushing real.
He's getting one back.
Yeah, he's getting one back, but Rick Binsley's now up into 9th position.
And that's Limpan off in front of us as well. And he's off again, not having a good race here, Limpan. All of that talk's sort of just been thrown out the window, really.
Yeah,
he's down to 12. Poor guy, I feel sorry for him now.
Yeah, he had a great qualifying session, but he's now all the way down in 12th from pole position. So, come on, Limpan, get a little bit of composure, get a little bit of tidiness, get your head down and try and get some of those positions.
I would say he's going to be one to watch because he'll be angry. He's going to be wanting to try and get through the pack now, get up into at least. I'd say he's going to be aiming for top 6.
On board with Rigel then, so Rigel challenging for 3rd position. 3rd position held currently by Rodders. These two running, the usual. These two are, basically the staff for RWB. They're the guys that are championing the race standards. They're the guys that are core members. They're organising leagues. They're guys that are always offering advice, set up tips and tricks. They're always around to chew the shit, as it were. To shoot the shit. Sorry, not chew the shit.
That's a very different take on that phrase, isn't it?
Yeah, they're always around to chew the shit. They're always around to shoot the shit in chat, you know, offer their advice and their opinions on things. So it's great to see these guys up the front. Not much action though. Looks like Rigel's struggling to get round Rodders. Rodders is just holding that steady third position, but we'll keep an eye on them. Let's go and have a look at some other. So it looks like Charger's moved up into 8th position, followed closely by Jens Fiedler.
He's not going to hold it. He's going to lose out.
That's Matthewson and Limpan who have just pushed up round Charger, but these guys are having a very close, intense race at the.
Limpan's holding that inside, and he has got it. He's up 2 places from that little ruckus there.
Looks like he's held up Matthewson though, and that gave Charger a little bit of a drive, but I think there was a little bit of confusion as to what was going on there, and Charger lost a little bit of speed when he could have gone around on the inside. But he's getting a good draft off of these two, and he's sticking with them.
A little change there.
That's Matthewson.
Oh, nice move there. He's switching to the inside. Can he hold it? And Limpan, no, he's just gone right around the outside.
Yeah,
good recovery from Limpan there.
Yeah, Matthewson threw it up the inside of Limpan, but Lim just did a little bit of a cutback on him and got him on the inside as he flew out wide and managed to hold on to that position. And Charger is falling off a little bit. I guess he's looked at these two and gone, I don't want to get involved in that. You two duke it out. That's fine. I'll pick up the pieces when you guys
just wait till they run off the track. Sometimes it is the wise choice.
Like watching Rigel then. Rigel looking up on the outside of Rodders. It looks like Rodders is trying to defend a little bit against Rigel, who is closing that gap now, and these guys are having a little bit more of a closer race as the time starts to tick down. You know, it's a minute and a half left to the end of the race. Looks like these guys have, were just getting their head down earlier, but now it's time to start duking it out for that position, for that third place, after they've got themselves a little bit of air to pull out. They pulled away from the guys behind a little bit.
Oh, that's the wall.
Yeah, Rigel. It's in line, mate. That's a wall.
So yeah, that's put him back quite a bit.
Yeah, that's gonna harm his what's the word?
Progress.
I'm just completely out of words. Ran out of words then.
I'm playing guess what now?
So we're watching. We'll just leave it at that, shall we? We're watching Cos now. Cos, good old steady Cos. So Cos obviously didn't get involved in any of that rubbish that happened on the first lap. He would have seen all that happening in front of him. He would have just threaded it through, nice and gentle, clean, just going, cheers lads, thanks for the mess, and he's now up into 10th position. So Cos running a good old race. Well done, Cos. Keep it on the grey stuff. Good lad.
Having a really nice race there. I think the last race he was doing just as well, but he got clipped, didn't he? Sort of fairly early on. Didn't manage to recover from it. But it's not, from what I know of Cos, it's not his style to sort of charge from the back. He's more of a steady, and you just hold it. Just keep going, keep on the grey stuff, and let everyone else make the mistakes.
So see Sammy then having a commanding race again, way off into the front, 3.5 seconds back to Luca as he's coming around. I think one of the final sections. I think it might be one of the back streets. I'm not sure, but he's clearly going to take the win. So well done to see Sammy. Luca's bringing up the rear in second place with 3.5 seconds to go. Rod is in third. Rigel in fourth. Still a little bit of action going on though, so let's have a look down the field. So on board with Peterman then. Oh, it looks like, oh no, the race is over. I think these guys have gone over the line.
Yeah, these guys have gone over.
So stick it on auto director. I've just realised you can put it on auto director towards the end of the race and it'll do all this for you. So Ricky Richard in 16th position. Followed by Conizzoli, Alejandro, FX UK, TK, and Limpan. Wait,
Limpan.
Did not finish.
Didn't finish.
So congratulations to C. Sammy once again for the win, but the fastest lap this time around was Peterman. So well done, Peterman. Luca Gray in second position, Rodders in third, managed to hold off Rigel, who was in fourth. Peterman in fifth, Jens Fiedler in sixth, Kruger in seventh. Charger has moved up into eighth position. Well done, Charger. Helmet in ninth, running a good steady race. Cos managed to hold on to that 10th that we saw him in. Dave Crew in 11th, Rick Binnesley in 12th, Debug in 13th, Matthewson, who we saw having that big tussle with Charger and Limpan earlier, into 14th position, Gretschel in 15th, Richard in 16th, Knitzley in 17th, FX in 18th. And the rest, I'm afraid, we couldn't quite get to you. But well done, guys. That was a good race. A good packed race. What did you think of that, Orange?
Good little race. Bit dramatic at the start. Had a fair amount of knocks and bumps, but like I said, it is that reversed sort of layout, so it's a bit tricky. Hats off to everyone, getting around it and adapting to it. Was a nice close race. Everyone is in the same boat, so it's always just a good bit of fun, isn't it? Really.
Yes, indeed. So it's good, obviously it's just throwing a little bit of a spanner into the works, running a slightly odd race layout. I think that people obviously don't know all that well. And, as we've already said this evening, it's a sprint race. The guys they've got to get ahead. They've got to race fast. It's not an excuse to obviously make mistakes and ruin somebody else's race. But these guys are going to be pushing these cars fast and hard to try and get as many positions as possible in such a short amount of time.
So yeah, just having a little look now at this track there. Just trying to search that.
Yeah, I'll let you do the Googling and get some history up. I'll let you take the reins on the old info dump when you're ready. So practice just coming to an end then. Qualifying will be starting shortly, and we'll have another run through some of the guys we've not seen yet and maybe catch up with some of the guys we've already seen.
So yeah, I remember Tiger doing a little bit about this track. It is one of Austria's second permanent track. So it's nestled in the hills. I cannot pronounce the name of where it is. I'll have a go. It's Salzkammergut. Hope that's right. It's a short distance to the east of the city in Salzburg. So pretty I imagine it would be pretty packed with fans. It's quite close, easy to get to, possibly. But yeah, it is a very nice track with that long straight that it features. Let me just see, what is the distance? So it is 2.6 miles. I'm not sure how many corners it's got.
So, we've got the track map up on the screen right now. You can quite clearly see that it's 1, 2, 3 fairly quick sections with some small changes in direction, but mostly straight. Some very fast sweeping corners. Long sweeping right-hander that we're just watching Rodders come around now. And then into a sort of parabolica on the right, then into some S's, then down a fairly long straight into another S, into a sweeping left-hander, into a parabolica, and then back onto that sort of sweeping long back straight. But it's not really a back straight, but it could be a back straight section into that sweeping right-hander again. So a pretty interesting track. I should imagine there'll be a lot of drafting in this one.
Yeah.
Not many.
I've raced this one in the touring cars, the front wheel drive 2013 series, and they are nice little cars, but it is very much draft based on this racetrack. It's not. The corners are important. Coming out of that hairpin right there, that is really key to getting your speed down the back straight. I'll just call it back straight for now. it does set you up for making a move going into that big sweeping right-hander, which does get messy when you go sort of 2 abreast, or sometimes because you've got the straight, you'll end up more than 2 abreast going into that, and it doesn't work. So it can be quite entertaining, but quite frustrating if you're the one getting pushed up.
Well, it should make for some interesting and action-packed racing, which is what I'm not in there racing tonight. I do like I love a good race, but as a spectator, I want to see passing. I want to see 3 abreast, 4 abreast, guys. A little bit of door rubbing. Guys overtaking, undertaking, pushing wide, so on and so forth. It makes for an exciting and breathtaking race, and it just for me. It's all about the on-track drama as it sort of unfolds in front of us, and it just makes watching and commentating that much more of a joy.
Yeah, I think that section there, that first chicane right off the start, that's going to be a fun one to watch. There's a lot of incidents happen there. Those, I don't know what you call them, the tyre stacks inside. There, you hit them, your car will just completely stop, or it'll flip around. It's going to ping back straight into traffic. So you've got to watch that one. Could be quite messy. Could be quite a good place for some overtakes as well. Actually, as long as you're careful.
So we're on board with Rodders at the minute then, so we'll watch Rodders have a little race around here, because I've not actually been around this track before, and I'm interested to see the sort of layout of this track as the cars are going around it. So do you want to take us around for an onboard lap with Rodders?
Yeah, sure. So here we go, across the line, gathering as much speed from the last corner. You're coming up to this one. Quite sort of heavy on the brakes. You don't want to sort of swing the back end, so you want to keep it nice and stable. Usually you try and take a bit more of the first curb so that you've got sort of a straighter line going through there. Going up to this bit, you usually want to hang it out a little bit wide, I'd say, then try and cut back, get some more speed so you can get on, sort of cut back, get more power down earlier, get a nice fast exit. Get down this back straight, which does take a while, so you want to keep it nice and steady. You don't want to be going down here sort of shaking about, which is what I'm usually doing on the controller, if I'm honest. So going through this little bit here, sometimes that can be a bit unnerving going through that bit with multiple people. This bit, I usually have a little dab of the brake, depends on what car you're in sometimes. Making sure you keep tight on that. You don't want to drift out too wide. Don't want to hold the power. Getting that nice. So that's just general nice corner. Try and take that as well as you can. These bits, despite the fact that we've got the qualifying bit here, you want to try and get as close as you can to those bollards, really, without touching them, without disturbing the car on the curbs.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
So do you want to run us down the board?
Go then. So we got Rodders. That is qualified. Is that qualified? Yeah. So Rodders in first. Got Charger in second. So well done to Charger. Oh, he's just been pushed down. The Helmet now is taking second. CSAM's now taking second. So we'll just see. Anyone else going to take it? Nope. So CSAM is holding. Helmet is in third. Charger in fourth. Binnersley holding fifth at the moment. FX in sixth. Timo. Can't say his name. Kanitsi is in seventh. Peterman in eighth. Kruger's got ninth. Debug in 10th.
And that's all she wrote.
And that's it. That's your top 10. There we go. So here we are at the start. We got 1 minute. Probably a little bit less because they'll all get onto the grid fairly quickly. They're all very eager to race.
So it's a nice sort of it's a fairly long straight off the start. So you shouldn't see too much drama on the first lap. I don't think. I think they should be fairly clean this time around. I might have to eat my words, but
yeah, might. So the lights are red. Still holding. There they go. So straight off, Rodders is holding first. He's not been overtaken quite yet. CSAM on the inside. He's going to be looking to probably take that going through the first corner. He's got the inside line. Oh, he's actually holding back. He's not going to go for it. Keep it clean. survived the first lap. Good strategy. So Helmet up to third. Rodders is down to second, actually. So he's going a bit slow. Did he have a little... Are you trying to talk? My Discord's cutting a bit there.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking like a robot then.
Sorry.
No problem. So yeah, it looks like Rodders had a little bit of an accident there and is now down into third position. But he's still up there. He's not fallen too far behind, so hopefully he'll be able to make up some of that time. See, Sammy again is in the lead. We're actually following. We're on board with Rodders right now. You can see Helmet in second position. So we said, we wanted to see a bit more action from Helmet to see how he goes, and he is holding on this first lap at the very least a very comfortable second place, duking it out with the likes of Rodders and C. Sammy. So well done, Helmet. Great to see you up there and fighting for that podium position.
Yeah, he's actually gaining on C-Sam. He's got a very nice run. He's on the outside. Is he going to hold it? No, he's not. C-Sam's just going to get the later break in. He's going to hold it through that chicane. That Helmet is under half a minute, just on it. So he's going to be looking to try and make another move, I imagine.
So we're on board. Looking back from Helmet, we can see that's Rodders there in the black and red, and he's not. Obviously, he's not happy with that third position. He was on pole, so he's going to be pushing really hard to try and get back up into that top spot. And Helmet's going to have a heck of a job holding him off as we're pushing down this backish straight. This little fast section is the right hand there. We're going to see Rodders close up as we go into, as we push. You'll see us go left on the camera, but we're actually in a right hander now. Rodders will be suffering from dirty air there and we're losing a little bit of downforce, but he's managing to hold it, and he's actually managed to keep a slightly tighter line, hitting that apex a little bit there, and he's closed up some of that gap. Looking to challenge Helmet now on the rear, but Helmet managed to hold him off.
C-Sam's running on the grass.
See, Sammy is I think that was Helmet, wasn't it? C-Sam is up in first still, but Helmet is closing that gap. He's 4 tenths behind, with Rodders 3 tenths behind. So these guys are pushing really hard for that top spot.
See, Helmet has dropped back a bit. So Rodders is right on the back of him, looking down the inside. Not close enough at the moment. They both run wide.
Helmet's pushed really wide there, and he's lost that draft as well. But I think Rodders has got the drive out of the corner, but he might be carrying a little bit more ballast than Helmet is, because Helmet is pulling away like you would not believe, like he's got nitrous in the back of that thing. The way he pushed out wide, probably had less drive than Rodders had, and Rodders is actually being challenged by Peterman now behind.
Yeah, just saw the nose of Peterman poking through, so he might be coming down the inside, and he is. And he has.
That's Charger's up into third place. Go on, lad. Charger is up into third. Well done.
That's Charger.
Yeah, Peterman's pushing up into fourth, and Rodders is now down into fifth place. Oh no, Rodders back up into fourth. So these guys are having a bit of a battle. Yeah, he's trying to hold him up on the inside. Obviously, clearly Rodders is. Oh, is that C-Sammy? C-Sammy.
Well, that's Helmet in the lead, and Charger is challenging for. He's looking all over the back of him.
I think Rodders had to slow down there, or he got hit. I'm not sure what happened.
I think C-Sam might have just lost connection. No, he's still there. He's in 15th. I don't think he's back up and running. So
yeah,
Charger going into that hairpin again.
Yeah, it was a nasty. I think C-Sammy lost the back there, and I think Rodders either broke and lost a lot of positions, or may have just clipped him. But that means that we've now got Helmet and Charger in the race for the lead, with Charger getting a really good draft off a Helmet coming down this backish straight. And he's gaining on Helmet. Helmet's going to have to look to defend on the inside. He's holding a tight line on the right-hand side, with Charger trying to go up on the outside. But will he push wide? So we know Helmet does tend to push a little bit wide when it comes into this apex.
Is he going to go down the inside?
It's looking like he's having a little sniff. Helmet has managed to keep it tight and tidy there, so he's managed to hold him off as we go into the chicane. So sweep your left, grab a little bit of that curb. Charger being a little bit sort of careful, I guess.
A little bit cautious there, not going quite as wide as he could to get as much of the sort of speed through that corner.
Say what you want about the old man, but you know he's very clean. He's very polite. He runs a good race, and he doesn't want to hit or ruin anyone else's races. So fair play to him. But he's still bringing it to Helmet. As Helmet gets a little bit untidy there, almost loses the rear end, and that's cost him a little bit of drive out of that chicane, giving Charger another chance to get some draft. And he's pushing up on the outside. He's just holding it nice and tight.
He's going to try and get a good exit, I think. That's what he was aiming for.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep in the draft, see if we can catch him for the corner at the bottom of the... I don't know if Charger's got ballast on him. He's not gaining too fast on that, but he is gaining very slightly, so he could be at the same weight here.
So Helmet's holding him off, but Charger's coming up on the inside. And he ducks out again. I think Charger needs to sort of go for a cutback, maybe try and push out wide and then pull it in nice and tight on corner exit and get a little bit more drive on Helmet to try and get around him. Because at the minute he's sort of losing a little bit of time in the corners, just following Helmet. He's getting the draft at the straights and getting into a position to challenge, but then having to back out just as we start to get into the corners. As Helmet gets on the green stuff, so Helmet was off there a little bit, and that will have cost them a little bit of traction, but it looks like Charger's not had the chance to maybe it may have had his own issues there and must have lost a little bit of traction as well and wasn't able to make the move. But coming into the chicane off the start finish, and both very tidy through there, so that's a good race. Let's have a look at something else. Let's have a look at somebody else.
There's a lot going on for fifth at the moment.
So
there we go. That's what I was saying. So 2 people off. I'm not sure who that is actually, but right now we're looking at Binnersley, and he's got.
This is Matthewson. This is Matthewson in 5th place, 5th place with Rodders behind him in 6th and Konitsi in 7th. Both looking to challenge for that 5th place. So Rodders has fallen off a little bit, unfortunately, but he's still running a good place. He's still in a good position for some points. But it looks like Charger's challenging for first again. So coming into that sweeping right-hander, there's only a couple of corners left for these two. Can Charger make a move? Is he going to be able to make it stick? That's it. No more time. This is it. Do or die. Helmet's got to hold him off, and Charger's got to try and make something happen here. Try and find some magic, but it doesn't look. No, it doesn't look like he's not going to be able to do it. So it looks like Helmet's going to take first with Charger in 2nd and Alex Kruger in 3rd.
There we go, yeah. That's Binnersley coming across. He's held 4th. Rodders holding 5th. Konitsi holding 6th. After their little incident in that sort of 5th place bracket.
We've got Crew in 7th, Gretschel in 8th. Cause down in 9th, a good result for Cause. Peterman in 10th, TK in 11th, Rigel in 12th. Yeah, FX in 13th, Debug in 14th, and Sammy after that nasty incident all the way down in 15th with Matthewson, who we saw was battling for 5th, wasn't he? Is now all the way down in 6th. So as we
not been good for Matthewson, and not good for Limpan or CSAM as well. Limpan was down in 19th, so whether he had...
Limpan did not finish, it would seem, so that's another poor result from the Swede with speed. So hopefully he can try and make up for that in the final 2 races. But another action-packed race, and we got to see Helmet bring the fire. So it was, we said we wanted to get Helmet on screen and see him have a good race, and we got to see him duke it out with a crowd favourite, our very own our very own old man, as it were, Charger, bringing it in. That's not what I wanted to say, but I just can't think of the words.
Experienced bloke.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, you're right. We did say we wanted to see Helmet up there, wanted to see a bit of action from him, and he provided it. Really, really good, interesting, entertaining race there from him. A bit of luck. or so there from CSAM, but that is part of racing, and he held his nerve, kept first place. So really, really good drive there from Helmut.
Yeah. I mean, you could see he was really pushing that car to the absolute limit, trying to keep it together and not lose his cool. We could see while we were on board with Charger that he was getting all kinds of crossed up and out of shape as he was trying to desperately hold on for that first place. And thankfully and luckily, he managed to hold on for it and get that first place. So well done, Helmut.
Yeah, and not forgetting about Charger. That was an amazing move to sort of come from almost seemingly out of nowhere. Passing Peterman, and then he was up into third, up into second, and challenging for first. So amazing drive from Charger there.
Yeah, if it had qualified a little bit higher, I can't remember where he qualified, but if it had got up the standings a little bit, he could have been well on his way for a win there. But I'm sure he will be dead pleased with second place. There's no doubt. So practice is up, and we're going to be moving into qualifying. So where are we now? We're at Silverstone, the Circuit Historic Grand Prix. So this is the old layout, and I want to make an absolute fool of myself here because I don't know any of the names. I know we've got Maggots, we've got Beckett's, and that's it. That's all I know. There are all these named corners, all the history, and the jewel in the crown of British racing sport. And unfortunately, I don't know any of the names of the corners. So take me out around the back of the shed and shoot me.
Oh dear. I'll be honest. I'll kind of join you on that. I'm not too clued up on Silverstone. I was in the someone's spinning out there. I was in one of the interviews with Tiger a few weeks ago, and he asked me about this track, and I said to him, I was never a fan of it. Never enjoyed this track. I never clicked with it. But on the particular race that I was doing, it just worked really well. I don't know why, it just worked amazingly. But other than that, I've never shown much interest in Silverstone, which is really bad. I should be a bit more proud of Silverstone being British. I should really love it and try and get good at it, really, but just never happened.
You know what, right? So during my prestigious and trophy strewn sim racing career. joke. I don't have any trophies. I've never won anything. I'm bloody rubbish. But during my short but sweet sim racing career, which I didn't really start in earnest until I was in my sort of late 20s, early 30s. Whenever Silverstone came up in a public lobby or any other sort of racing event, I hated it. It was. I think it's a very challenging track, and me being a little bit green around the gills in the early days, I just didn't take to it. It's not a track that I found naturally easy to race around, and I always thought the lines in the corners were sort of difficult and awkward.
Yeah, I can agree with that totally. It never felt too natural to me. I enjoyed this part, sort of the Maggots and Beckett's that we're going through, but other than that, I never really liked it. So going up to, I believe it's called Stowe, going around that, and then sort of going through, I think it's Club. I could never find the line, and then coming through, I'm not sure which one it is.
So this is the classic. This is the classic layout as well. So I'm going to be careful.
I know, I've got to be careful. I'm trying to match it up, but I don't know the year that Race Room has used and labelled as the historic Grand Prix. So
yeah. What I will say though is whilst I've probably not driven around this particular layout of the track. The layout that we did do for the F1 League after a week of practice, which is my usual every day sweating it out, just trying to find as much time and dial in the car as much as possible. After a week, in the tempest, as it were, I fell in love with this track. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I have to say, out of all the tracks during the F1 League, including Imola, which for me was the one that I got the most practice on, this has got to be my favourite track of them all. It's just so fast and breakneck speed in the F1 cars. It was just an absolute joy to drive around this track, and I'm going to miss it. I really am. I really am going to miss driving around here in that F1 car.
Yeah, it is. I mean, with all tracks, it is very much a case of if you're not confident with it, you don't know it too well, you're not going to be competitive as, say, others who are experienced around it, and your first impressions aren't going to be great. So it is very dependent on whether you click with a track, I think. Some people do just find it really, natural. Others have to practice a little while. I think everyone, once they've got to a stage where they know the track, they feel competitive for their standards around it, people start to just love the tracks. And that's kind of the same for me with the last race I did on this.
Great stuff. So a minute of qualifying still to go, and the board's going to come up and obscure our view. So let's have a little rundown of where people are right now. So at the moment, this is subject to change. We've got Luca in pole position, followed by Dave Crew, followed by Rigel in third, followed by Rodders in fourth, Kruger in fifth, Peterman in sixth, FX holding a very steady seventh position. Well done, FX. Limpan in eighth. He'll be looking to improve on that.
Yeah,
and hopefully
he might have another lap to set.
Yeah, hopefully he has been a little bit aggressive and a little bit messy this evening. So I'm hoping he's gonna, if he doesn't improve on that eighth position, that he's gonna tone it down a little bit and try and keep it clean and try and keep his nose off the rear end of anyone. And then we've got Debug in 9th, Gretschel in 10th, RWTK in 11th, Koniitzi in 12th, Jammer down in 13th. So Jammer's not had a great night. Jammer's one of the fast guys, one of the sort of top of the mid pack, and we've not really seen him doing too well this evening.
Actually.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's a little bit tired. Maybe he's not used to the car, but come on, Jammer, you can do it. I believe in you. Oh, Jamrag.
Do you want to take this, or do you want me to start it off?
Yeah, I'll take the lead if you don't mind. So we've just got another 35 seconds of garage time, but these guys are, coming out onto the track pretty fast. So I suspect that we'll be going to reds very soon. Just going to stick it in auto director for now, and hopefully it'll get us all the action. So 15 seconds to go. I think we've got Luca on pole with Dave Crew in second, Rigel in third, and Rodders in fourth, Kruger in fifth, Peterman in sixth. As we go to red lights, getting ready for the start. And here we go, and they're off. So we've got Luca in the lead with Crew holding in second, with Rigel in third, looking very tidy. A good field in the rear there, looking nice and steady. Hopefully nothing too messy as we're coming into the second right-hander, with Rigel holding third position, followed by Rodders, followed by Kruger, followed by Peterman. Rigel very nice and tidy through there. It looks like Peterman's having a little bit of a battle there on the inside with Limpan, who's up into sixth position, who's trying to get up and through past Kruger, which he manages. So Limpan up into fifth position, trying to close down on Rodders, with Kruger back up into fifth, then swapping back down into sixth. So these guys are battling it out.
It's up to fourth. Amazing start for him. Falling down to fifth, but for all of this, it was that.
Yeah, it was that Sammy again in the grid. That's unfortunate. But Peterman holding sixth position, so well done, Peterman. Looks like he's having a bit of a challenge from Gretschel. Then the Gretschel coming up on the outside there, just managed to bully his way through into the fast right-hander after the straight, over the line in sixth position for Gretschel, with Peterman down into. Over to you.
So you cut a little bit there. That might have been my side. But so we got Peterman right now. He's looking right behind Gretschel. Gretschel running off on the grass a little bit, so that's going to slow him down. Peterman, pretty simple move there, just pull into the inside, and he's up into 6th. So I believe that's Knizia as well, trying to get in on the action. He's on the inside, trying to hold that line. As Gretschel trying to hold the outside, so if he's got the inside for the next corner, he has. He's still in 7th. So that is Charger as well now, putting a bit of pressure on Knizia. Willie, whether he's going to make a move at this bit, he's got a bit of speed. I don't think he's going to try and make a pass quite yet. Right behind him, we've got Matheson. Matheson running very wide there. Very, very wide going off the track. He might try and make a move, but probably not. He's, I imagine he's got enough respect to just sort of just admit he's gone off the track and can't really make a maneuver there.
So we're just watching Rigel now then. So we're back. So we're up on the front runners now. We've got Luca in the front there in the light blue. We've followed by Dave Crew in the sort of dark, the sky blue. With Rigel in 3rd place. These guys are sort of pulling away a little bit. The gap to Rodders in 4th position is about a second and a half at the moment. These guys were having a little bit of a tussle, but it looks like it seems to have calmed down a little bit. But Luca is, he's doing really well. He's
I'd say it's good to see Luca at the front, because the past few races haven't exactly been kind to him. He's been chasing down Sam, and it's just been a bit of a frustrating evening for him, I think. He's not really gained on Sam, not really had much of an interesting race for the first. I don't know where he placed for the 3rd. I think he was a little bit lower down, so that would have been a bit more fun for him. But now he is fighting for 1st. He's got to defend it from Crew. It's nice to see Crew up there as well. So
So a
new top 3, really.
Yeah, a great race for Dave Crew at the moment. As we can see, Luca trying to break the draft there, going a little bit untidy into the sharp left-hander, so really tough on the brakes there into into the parabolic curve right-hander here. Really tough to get this one right, and you just need to get on the traction as soon as possible to push the car into this one of the many back straights at Silverstone. I believe this is the old start-finish line. Dave Crew and Luca, though, pulling away a little bit from Rigel, so maybe Rigel's struggling with ballast at the moment. As see Dave.
I think Rigel's struggling with the braking there, because the ballast is going to be, I think it would have been just a bit, a lot heavier than all the other drivers out there, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So he's going to be trying to keep the same braking zone as everyone else, but that ballast is going to be affecting him quite a lot.
Well, he's managed to close the gap up really well there, though, because we just saw Dave Crew and Luke having a little bit of a battle and getting a little bit untidy, and that's given Rigel the opportunity to close that gap down to 1.5 tenths. So Rigel looking to challenge again now, and he's going to try and make it into this fast right-hander. It looks like Dave's got the back end out a little bit, as we see Rigel lose a little bit of traction into that right-hander, with Dave pushing hard, trying to catch on Luca. Into the left, into the right, and one more right-hander to come over the finish line. Luca holding a nice steady 1st position as Dave grabs a handful of sausage there and gets a little bit untidy, giving Rigel the opportunity to drive again into this fast right-hander, into the left, another sharp 90-degree right coming up, with Luca pulling away, and Rigel's going to try and do him on the brakes. He's on the inside. It looks as though he's managed to make that stick.
He's got the outside now, though. So Crew's got the inside, and he is going to hold it. Can Rigel get the car back? No, he can't. And it is that ballast that's holding him back, so he can't make any moves going down the straight. He can keep up with the draft, but he is going to be making all of his attempts in those corners. So it's going to be very much sort of just chuck his car there and see if he can hold it, really.
So yeah, we talk about Rigel closing that gap with the battling from Luca and Dave, but look who's knocking on Rigel's door now. We've got Rodders in 4th place, who's closed that gap down to 3 tenths on Rigel. So now we've got a 4-way battle for 2nd place, with Luca pulling away 1 second, and just behind Rodders, the Swede with speed. We've got Limpan up into 5th position, looking to make amends for his poor performance in the last 2 races. So he's going to be pushing and trying to get as many positions as he can to try and make up for those poor performances earlier. And he has closed up pretty damn well. I mean, he's holding with Rodders as Rigel is just looking to try and get up that inside, but I just don't think Rigel's able to get around Dave. Dave's holding his position really well here, and he's closed a little bit of time on Luca as well.
So yeah, I was going to say the gap from 5th to 6th for Limpan to Peterman. That's quite a lot there. And these are two drivers that they are up at the top, usually fighting it out together. So I think Peterman's got the sort of same problems as Rigel. He's got a lot of ballast to deal with. He's going to be not too soon. I was going to say he's going to have Gretschel behind him, but that's a 4-second gap which he's maintaining. So he's having a pretty safe race at the moment.
So on board with Dave Crew, then he's challenging his son. I think it's his son. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Dave is Luca's dad. But correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. I do apologise. But yeah, he was just challenging for that first position. He's closed that 1-second gap, so it looks as though Luca's had a little bit of an off mistake and has allowed Dave to close that gap. But just behind Dave, we've still got Rigel. We've got Rigel, who's 3/10. He's still looking for that.
Oh, going down the inside. That's Rodders.
Yeah, it looks like Rodders has had a little bit of a tap there on Rigel, and it looks as though he's ducked out a little bit, maybe to sort of say sorry for the little bit of contact. But this is the final lap, so this is going to go all the way to the wire. Let's stick with these guys and see if anybody can make a move. So watching Luca then. Luca 1 second, 1.5 second away from Crew. So it looks like Crew's made some sort of massive mistake. Oh yeah, they're over the line.
I'm thinking of the other Silverstone, the non-historical, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. Luca managing to hold that. I thought the flash of the lights was a bit too early, but no, he was perfectly on time with that. Great drive from Luca. Brilliant drive from Crew there as well. So I haven't seen him at the top that much, which is nice to see them too. Rigel doing well again with that ballast as well. So he's had a bit of. Would it be fair to say he's been struggling a little bit with these few races?
Sorry, I've just been informed that Dave Crew is not Luca Gray's dad, so I do apologise.
I think it's. I don't know where I've got. Isn't it? We've got a member called Isaac, and he's the son of
Rigel is Isaac's dad, I believe.
So there we
go. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before in the past. Let's just.
So yeah, there we go. Going back to Rigel, I think he's been struggling a little bit, but really performed well in that race. I think he does like Silverstone. I imagine.
I just want to cut in and just run through the results. So we've got Luca Green first, Dave Crew in second, Rigel in third, and we've lost it. I do apologise, everyone. But that was another action-packed race. It was good to see those guys duking it out at the front again. And again, a different set of guys at the front from the last race. So the last race, it was Charger and Helmet and C-Sammy and Rodders as well. And this time we had Luca Gray, we had Rigel, and we had Dave Crew. So, it's been anybody's guess. You know, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't know who to bet on tonight. It's been such a varied and interesting roster at the front of for the front runners tonight. So, it's been really exciting and interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like you said, it's been a bit of a mix. We had C-Sam at the top for the first two races. So they were both him and Luca were having very, very consistent 2 races there. I think that C-Sam is just spun off. So I'm talking about his consistency. But leading on from that, we had the next 2 races. Nice to see different people at the top, actually. So it's always good to see some sort of new challenges for the first place.
So yet again, another track that I know nothing about. I believe this is the Euro Speedway Lausitz ring. Which one is this then? This is the short course. So the short course is 2.119 miles, or 2.1 miles, I guess, with a total of 12 corners. So it's a short, twisty track. Set in the middle. Part of it is part of a sort of 3-corner oval. I mean, we say oval, but it's 3 corners, which is not very ovally. It's more like a triangle, really. But yeah, it kind of fits the bill of this evening of twisty short tracks, and this looks to be the epitome of tonight's sort of theme. So another set of tonight's just been a bunch of interesting and oddball tracks that I would not normally expect to see. So they're not the usual, the classic, Spa, Silverstone. I know we've had Silverstone, but Red Bull Ring, Hockenheim, and so on and so forth.
The big names out there.
Yeah, and you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure to see some of this variety tonight. In what is, I would say, a fantastic car. Looks like the guys have had a pretty good evening of it in this car. How do you think people are handling the car?
I think it's an enjoyable car. So I think even if you're someone who doesn't really use it, it's easy to get the hang of if you just put a bit of time into it and just try and enjoy it. It is a really nice car once you sort of get the hang of it, and driving around sort of any track, it can suit it really, and it allows you to do some really close racing. It is one of those cars that makes for good racing. I know I've raced in a few cars that I just feel like the pack is sort of so spread out and there's nothing going on. But when you're in cars like these, they're just brilliant. It's great fun.
Yeah, we've seen lots of close racing this evening, and I think this car is definitely well suited to that kind of event. So it's it's been a good choice, a good pick, I believe. I'm not sure, could be wrong. Again,
don't quote him.
But it was Charger that made the choices tonight. So well done, Charger. You've picked a good bunch of tracks here, and a good car.
Yeah, he's had the experience. He knows what works.
Yeah, he's old enough, isn't he?
Wait, careful. So yeah, talking of Charger, just watching him. We've got 3 minutes of qualifying left. Now I've actually never driven around this track. Never raced here, so this is pretty new to me.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say is, pick some tracks we bloody know as commentators, right? So we can say, oh, I know what it's like to drive around here. Ooh, I love this section of track. Oh, this bit's my favourite. With this shit, I ain't got a clue what's going on. I ain't got a clue where anyone is. I ain't got a clue what the history is. Oh, dear. But, we'll give it our best.
No idea, really. But I can tell you that the corner names are Turn 1, Turn 2 and Turn 3. There's no name, it's just numbered.
Well, that makes us look less silly, right? Because we can say T1 to T12, and that works for me because they're easy to remember, so good stuff. But yeah, it looks like a nice, kind of a bit like Indianapolis, really, but a little bit more tight and twisty than Indianapolis. But plenty of width on the track, it would seem. To get so we should see plenty of side-by-side action going around this track. So it should make for an interesting race as we see Sammy take pole, followed by Peterman, followed by Kruger, followed by Gretschel in 4th, Rodders in 5th, Rigel in 6th, Helmet in 7th, Marazi in 8th, Debug in 9th, and Knitzi in 10th. That all may change yet, though, as we've still got a minute and 20 of qualifying. But yeah, yet again, see Sammy hunt. So he's obviously having a really good evening tonight. He's not had the the cleanest races this evening. He has made a few mistakes, and that has cost him a few positions through this evening. But he's still pushing hard in qualifying and trying to get those podium race results. So go on, son.
I think he has taken every pole position, hasn't he?
I think we've had we had Luca on pole in the last.
Ah, right, yeah.
And I think we've seen Lim on pole as well.
Yep, we did, yeah. So.
But other than that, it's been Sammy. It's been the Sammy show in quality.
He's been showing off. Yeah. Consistent driver and bloody good one as well.
So not much.
Not surprising.
So not much movement in the front. So we've got Sammy first, Peterman in second, Kruger in third, Gretschel in fourth, Rodders in fifth, Helmet in sixth, Rigel in seventh, Lim in eighth, Richard in 10th, Stefano Mirazzi in 11th, and the rest, it remains a mystery. So 50 seconds of garage time then. The guys just, having a quick swig of whiskey, quick drag on a fag, quick shout at the missus, scoff a quick biscuit, and get strapped into the seat and get ready to go.
So do you want to take this, or do you want me to do this one?
You are more than welcome to take the lead if you would like, my good friend.
So at the moment we have got a nice, well, from my camera view, I'm not sure if it's yours as well, but we've got a nice picture of the wall. So I'd like them to fix that. Stupid.
How's that?
There we go. That's a lot better. So we are here with the red lights. They will be going green. There they go. They are green and they are away. Someone at the back pulling out, trying to make a quick move. Up at the front, we have got C-Sam holding his line. Peterman on the outside. Kruger on the inside. Nice to see Kruger at the top, fighting for one of the top spots. With Gretschel is behind in fourth. Rodders in fifth. And then we've got Helmet in sixth, Rigel going down as Crew goes to seventh, Limpan in ninth, and Chudge in 10th. And there's your top 10. Looking back now on the from the wing of Rodders, looking at Helmet, getting a little bit sideways. He's holding it. He's not holding it. Oh gosh, terrible. He's been hit. He's massive crash. Everything's going wrong. Brilliant for Rodders. He's managed to make a massive gap. Rigel's managed to take advantage of that as well. He's up to sixth, but terrible for I believe it was it Helmet that spun?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, Helmet lost. Helmet lost the rear there, didn't he? And it looked like it came to blows with a couple of guys. It might have been Ricky Richard, who collided with him, and that then obviously caused the domino effect, causing everybody behind to sort of squeeze up and get a little bit untidy. But it looks like they all managed to get back on the track and get going again. So it's not causing too much of a kerfuffle.
Could have been Crew that he caught when he was spinning, because Crew's gone all the way down to 14th. I don't know if he started low, but I think he's usually sitting definitely at the mid pack. If I know it was the blue livery car that got hit.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
keep an eye out.
It was the blue livery, which we did see Dave in on the last race, so it may have been. So on board with Alex Kruger then, who's holding a steady third position, chasing down on Martin Peterman, his fellow club member from Zero Force Racing, with RWB C-Sammy leading the race in his, we might say, I mean, it's not his rightful position, but it's where you would expect to see him during these Thursday evenings, and it looks like he's holding a nice steady 1 second gap. I wouldn't be surprised if Sammy has got a lot of ballast, so and as well as Peterman as well. I know Peterman tends to be up at the front as well, so these guys are going to be with a heavier than usual. They're right up there. They're pulling away, and Alex is chasing them down. I should imagine as Peterman catches up to Sammy and starts to challenge for that position, because he has closed that gap down to 4/10 now. That's going to give Alex an opportunity to close this 1 second gap and hopefully get into a fight for that top position with the. So looking at Rodders now in 5th position, he's following Gretschel, who's got a 1.5 second lead. So a little bit of a gap between. Oh no, he's got half a second. Sorry, to Gretschel, who's got a 1.5 second gap to Kruger. So the front 3 are 1.5 seconds. Is challenging Gretschel for that 4th position, followed by Rigel, who is a second behind. But I'm sure as Rodders. We'll see that gap for Rigel close up a little bit as they start to battle. Speaking of battles, it looks like Peterman has moved up into 1st position with Sammy now down into 2nd. So there's been an exchange of places here, a trade of blows, as it were, and it looks like Sam come off with a worse for wear with Peterman pushing up into 1st position. So well done to Peterman. It looks as though Sammy's sticking with him, though. He's obviously got the draft, and he'll certainly have an opportunity to take him again coming along this fast sweeping section that forms part of the sort of default circuit. So it'll be very quick down here. So let's have a watch, see if Sammy can actually gain some of that gap back. So it's 2.5 tenths, 2 tenths. Letting off a little bit, trying to get him on the brakes. He holds a nice tight line there with Peterman getting a little bit squirrely, and Sammy's closed that gap with Peterman getting a little bit untidy, but Sammy then has to keep it tight and get up on the rumble strip to avoid going into the back of him, and Peterman is managing to hold him off, but see Sammy is all over him. So these guys
I feel Sam's got a lot more ballast on him because Peterman is pulling away when he comes out of the corner.
Yeah.
You can see they're pulling away quite strong. It's leaving Sam behind to try and make it up in the corners, really.
Yeah, so Sammy's definitely getting him on the brakes, though, it would seem. But yeah, Peterman is pulling away on these sort of faster straight sections with that gap now up to 3 tenths, and it looks as though Sammy's struggling to keep it tidy, or not keep it tidy, but it's really difficult to follow somebody really close. You don't. The last thing you want to do is hit into the back. The last thing you want to do is hit into the back of them when they break a little earlier than you expect, and then that's both of you losing a bunch of time.
Yeah, brilliant sportsmanship there from Sam. Just going off onto the wide line, going off of his racing line, losing a lot of time, but not going straight into the back of Pete. Really respectful.
Just watching Kruger then, so Sammy obviously lost a little bit of time, and Alex Kruger was trying to push up into 2nd place. Manages to get side by side with Sammy, but Sammy had the outside line, had the wider line into the corner, and was able to brake a little later, and Alex had to duck out and give Sammy the line. So unfortunately he wasn't able to make that challenge for 2nd position stick. However,
I was going to say he has got less weight, so he's going to be on the back, and he's made the pass actually.
Yeah,
he's made it. He's through. Is he going to keep it? I think he is. So he's over half a second now of a gap in front.
Yeah,
whether Sam is going to push that back, I'm not sure. I don't know whether his ballast is affecting him that much because he has dropped off from Peterman by quite a considerable amount now.
Yeah, it does look as though he's struggling to. He was obviously, driving the wheels of this thing to try and hold on to that, that commanding lead position that he normally holds, and clearly his phenomenal performances in the pre-races has mean he's taken on a lot of ballast and is now struggling to duke it out for that 1st position, with Kruger pulling well away. It's the 2nd gap, with Kruger now trying to keep up to trying to chase down Peterman, who is pulling a 1.5 second gap now. So looks as though Sammy's going to be stuck in.
He's almost held it in a massive slide. Rodders and he's got. Who was that? I don't know who that was. I think that was Gretschel actually. So both of them made the same mistake. Gretschel manages to sort of bounce back onto the track from hitting Sam, and see Sam all the way down into 10th. And there's more chaos. That's Debug?
That's the Debug. Got a little bit. I don't know. He was on the inside. It looked like Helmet may have turned in on him, but Debug may have pushed in a little bit pushed his nose in a little bit too soon. Maybe we'll see an incident report or something about that one on the replay. But it's anyone's guess as to what happened. But it looks as though these guys are back in the race now. So obviously, close, action-packed race.
It is a feature of all of these small sort of tighter tracks. Surprisingly, it has got quite the large straights, the wide straights that are always sort of featured on the sort of split. I don't know what you call it.
Sorry to cut in there. We've got Peterman coming over the line in first position, with Kruger in second, Rodders in third, Rigel in fourth, Gretschel in fifth, Charger coming in a respectable sixth position, with Esmerazi in seventh, Helmet holding eighth, Debug in ninth, Knitzy in 10th, Ricky Richard in 11th, C-Sammy all the way down in 13th position, with Cos in 12th, Dave Crew in 14th, Matthewson in 15th, and Limpan again.
No,
did not finish.
It's not been his evening, has it? And it was FX as well that didn't finish, according to the stats.
So we've been asked if we want to do interviews. So do you want to do an interview with someone?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Right. I'm not sure how we make the decision on. I know they usually do like a. They roll a dice, don't they? I don't have access to anything right now. Martin Peterman. So let's get Martin Peterman in. I've just been informed that Peterman is going to be coming into the commentary box, and he's just won that final race as well. So that's going to be great. So.
Need to start thinking of some questions.
Yeah. So here he is. Oh no, and now he's disappeared. Where did he go? What? So we're just waiting on Peterman to get dropped into the commentary box. I'm being bombarded with orders from the chief of commentary and the director squad, telling me what to ask, which is all good and well. So I just want to welcome Martin Peterman to the commentary box. How you doing, Martin? You all right?
Yeah, I'm right. Good evening, everybody.
Great to have you here for in the commentary box, mate. And congratulations on the win in the final race. Looks like you managed to push past C-Sammy after he had a couple of dodgy corners there. Did you think you were going to get him during that?
Honestly, I didn't believe that, because especially the 100 kilos, it's very much ballast, and fortunately I do know the track very well, because my grandparents live 500 meters away from Lausitzring.
So you're 100 kilos of ballast. So I haven't actually driven any of these cars with any ballast yet. Can you tell us? Have you driven the car this particular car without any ballast at all?
Yes, last season or 2 seasons ago in the VR GT3 Mastership, I also went with a Porsche, but I think it's much more difference between the fixed setup, because this car has so much understeer with the fixed setup, and you always want to avoid that. The 100 kilos extra, you see them when you brake. You need more time to brake. You have one thing that's good about it: you have no wheel spin at all. At the start, you can just push the pedal and everything's all right.
So it's nice and stable on the rear, but it does handle significantly different with the ballast. So that's really interesting. And if you're carrying all that ballast and you still manage to get the lead, I've got to really tip my hat to you and say congratulations and well done. You've obviously had a fantastic evening. We're used to seeing you at the front on a Thursday evening. This is not your first Thursday evening with RWB. Can you tell us a little bit about how you feel about RWB Thursday evenings? We keep seeing you coming back. What is it about Thursdays that attracts you?
Fun. In the first order, a lot of fun and fast races, good competition, and I think the most important is you cannot be you cannot improve yourself by training. You just jump in and come on board. No one has an advantage who has trained for weeks, so that's pretty cool about it. And it's a little bit frustrating that Jens had 2 tracks not bought yet, and the shop is not available at the moment, so he could only join 3 races this evening. But we also had Alex Krüger with us this evening, and he also got on the 2nd place on the Lausitzring. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously you mentioned Jens Fiedler and Alex Krüger, who are your club mates from Zero Force, which, I must say, I mean, I don't want to toot our own horn too much, but it's great that we can have, guys like yourself, like Jens, like Alex, and a few other guys in the field as well tonight, who can come along and race with RWB and make up some of the numbers, right? Because what I will say, one of the cool things about tonight is, we had 20, 25 cars on track tonight, and it's down to the fact that you guys from Zero Force and other members of other clubs come in and joining RWB, and adding to that that fun, dynamic, and interesting mini league that we've had tonight. So it's great to have you on board. I do have a little question for you. So, one of the things we do here at RWB is we absolutely pride ourselves on racing fair, racing clean, and racing for position. Do you guys over at Zero Force have a similar sort of code of ethics?
We don't have a code, but I think it should be the first rule of racing to race fair. That's the point of racing. Otherwise, you could drive Need for Speed or something like that. This is a simulation. This is like real racing, and it's much more enjoyable if everybody obeys the rules.
Yeah, completely. And it's one of the things that attracted me to RWB. Is the fact that everybody's trying to race fair. You get into an open lobby and you're getting rammed off the track. You're getting hit by idiots. You're getting taken out by children that have not been told to race clean, race fair, and race for position. So it's great to have you along and to see that you have a similar sort of ethos as us, and it's great to have you on board. Orange, do you have anything for Martin?
I was just going to ask one thing. You asked the thing about the weight, which I wanted to know about, really. But
don't see so.
The one thing that I would like to ask is, would you like to see the mini league sort of introduce the ability to choose a more not a large variety, but more variety of cars? So still keeping the ban on changing the settings. Everyone's in the same sort of boat where they can't get practice, they can't change things. But
are you still
there? Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah. Can you? I can hear Orange.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I don't hear him.
Can you hear me, Martin?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, but nothing from Orange.
Okay, that's very strange because I can hear Orange talking. But
can you ask? Yeah,
I'll ask his question for him. So he wants to know whether or not you would like to see more variety in the car choice on a Thursday evening.
You mean different cars on the same evening?
So yeah. So obviously we've got the one choice now, but he's wondering what are your thoughts on maybe having a selection of 2 or 3 or more cars as well as the one car. So same class essentially.
Honestly, I would leave it as it is because it's also a good degree of improvement. I think when you are getting used to one special car and you see the competitors improve race by race, it's also pretty nice. So I would leave it as it is.
I agree. I can agree with that, actually. Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, Martin, and congratulations on a phenomenal evening tonight. We hope you had fun, and we look forward to seeing you again on another thing.
Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
Yeah, you too, mate.
Okay, take care.
So that's about it then. So that wraps up this Thursday evening. I've got to say, Orange, tonight has been just super interesting. It's been great to see all of the front, the top three change every single race. Nobody seems to have been able to absolutely dominate tonight, and that's meant that we've had the job basically of commentating and making sure that people get lots of screen time and airtime has been very easy from my point of view, because we've always had somebody else to commentate on. So it's been an absolute laugh tonight. What are your closing comments on tonight?
Yeah, so as my first sort of proper live commentary, I've enjoyed it massively. It's been brilliant. I came into it, and when I had no idea what the car was, so when I sort of loaded in and saw it, I thought it'd be a little bit boring in a way. Actually, I thought we'd see close racing, but I thought we'd see just the same people at the top. It's a common car. Everyone likes to drive in the GT3, so I thought it'd be quite samey throughout all the races. But I've been really surprised, actually. Really pleasantly surprised. Really nice variety of people who are sort of achieving really well on the track.
Yeah, and interesting car choice and track selection as well from Charger. So well done, Charger. Right, moving swiftly on to great, sort of larger, more grandiose topics. So this Saturday, we have got the RWB International FX17 Saturday League, 9:30, taking place at Hungaroring. It's going to be 15 minutes of qualifying, 80 minutes of racing, and it's going to be commentated on by Tiger and hopefully Speed if he's feeling better. So can't wait to see those guys go at it. And I'm actually going to be taking part in this race, and I cannot wait for Saturday. So bring it on. So that's all from me. That's all from Orange. Just remember, guys, to race fair, race clean, race fair, race for position, race RWB. Thank you and good night.
Good night.